Hello everyone, if it's your first time to the channel, welcome, and if it's not, welcome back. In today's video we're going to continue playtesting in the GD02 meta. This time we're playing blue-green aggro. To start off with the deck list, we're running 4 GMs, 4 Zaku 2s, and then 4 more Zaku 2s. So these are our main level 2 1 costs. There are 2 2s, with this Zaku 2 being a potential 3-2 when it attacks. And then we're also running 4 gun tank just for a little bit of ping to help us finish off some blockers or our opponent's units whenever we want to force them into some favorable trades. Then we're running both of the Char Zaku 2s. Both of these are really good in different scenarios. So this Char Zaku 2 is really good for keeping your hand size up. Just the fact that when destroyed you can search the top 3 for a Neo Zeon card is really good. It doesn't require a pilot, which is really nice. And then this Char Zaku 2 does require a pilot, but when destroyed it spawns a token, which is really good. Then we're running 4 Rig Dom. Rig Dom is just really good at continuously providing pressure while still dealing with your opponent's board, and so you can use your Rig Dom to continue applying pressure. We're also running 4 Angsha, just additional ping, just like gun tank. It's very crucial to see ping so that you can continuously make favorable trades, because a lot of your deck, you're running a lot of units that don't have very high AP, and so this just makes it really good for some favorable trades. We're running a 1 of Char's Gelgoog. There's just times where this just wins you the game, right? If your opponent, if you're playing like a green-white and you happen to have this Char Zaku 2 on board and they happen to play like an A-drop, the A-drop wins 0, then that can find you a Neo Zeon that you can pitch for the Gelgoog and then just get the Gelgoog back. Just it's a win condition that it doesn't always come up. You don't really want to see it too often because there are times where it can just clog in your hand, but it's a card that can win you a game, and so I think it warrants being run as a 1 of. I'm trying 3 of the original Gundam and then 1 of the LR Draw Gundam. In this deck specifically, this Gundam is most of the time better just because you can get the +1 on pair. It doesn't have to be with Amuro Ray, it can be with Char, and then you're able to bump everything up by the +1, which in this deck specifically it's really massive because you're running a lot of like small guys. But there are also times where like the draw can feel really nice, and so in a lot of the other blue decks that I play, I try to run this as a 1-off for the additional card draw. In this one it might not be as good, but I figured since we're playtesting we might as well run it and see how it feels. And then the other flex spots that I'm running, because these are all staples, right? So Char's staple, Amuro's staple, obviously, right? Like the pilots for your deck, and then your bases can change a little bit. I know a lot of people are running 4 of Corsica base. I want to try out white base. This has helped win a regional before, and so there are times where it just can give you really good value, especially in this deck where like you struggle. Like there are times where you don't tap out, right? If you make it to those late games a little bit, you don't really tap out on resources, and so just having something that gives you free resources is really nice. So I want to try it as a 1 of. And then I'm also running a 1 of show. This could be the searcher event as well, but that one is dependent on you having Char or Amuro already on the field, whereas like show you don't need for that. And then late game you'd rather see the show anyway, right? Because you just draw the 2 resources. So that is the deck profile though, and let's get into some gameplay. Alright, and my opponent gets to choose who goes first or second, decides to go second, so I'm going first. And this is a weird hand to keep, but I do have plenty of 1-drops to play. So I'm just gonna play out my 1-drop. I'm gonna keep it because I have 2 1-drops. Even though 3, you don't really want to see that many pilots, but at least Amuro Ray is a phenomenal card, and that just makes the hand a lot better because now I can also swing with my Charzaku next turn. And he doesn't have the Ilfrith, which is also good for us because the Ilfrith would survive if he decided to block with it. And then now he's probably going to let these go through, and then next turn, oh, decides to block the second one. Okay, that's smart. I'll say he could potentially let it through and then just swing with it the turn after, but this is definitely the better play. And I'm actually going to I'm not going to use the char yet. I just want to go as wide as I can. My opponent uses one of the X resources and links, which that's pretty okay with us. I am going to trade here, which is going to stymie some of our aggression, but it could potentially be a really good thing for us if we hit. We don't hit, which makes it a really bad play, but if we would have hit another 1-drop, we would have been in a really good position. And then we just have to pass here. Hopefully he doesn't have an ale. The base is most of the time really good there, and just stalls us a lot, but we got blessed and top decked a Gundam. Honestly, I mean, we really just got blessed, and so that allows us to put in a lot of aggression. But that's the one time where like having the pilots in hand feels really nice. It just feels really nice when you top deck into anything that can link. And we have our opponent down to 1 health, or one shield, sorry, not 1 health. And he's only going to 6 resources. He does have a striker pack. Does he have a second blocker? And we do have the second Amuro. So that just kind of another Amuro. Okay. Nice. And then we're just going to go. And even if this is a base, he could still kind of survive here. Like if this was a base, he has unforeseen. But thankfully he doesn't have any of that. And then we're able to take it. And I am going to give him the rematch because he is playing green-white, which this is like a meta matchup, right? Blue-green versus green-white. My opponent didn't really play that bad. I just kind of was able to steamroll him. He didn't see as many blockers as he potentially could have. I'm going first again, and I'm going to keep this hand because this is a really good hand. Seeing Gundam Amuro just feels amazing. And then we had a Charzaku. Unfortunately, we don't drop a second 1-drop, but I am actually going to play out the gun tank in this situation. Because we have the Gundam Amuro and then the Charzaku here, I feel like we're going to be able to be pretty aggressive. And in this case, I know I'm playing against green-white. I won't always know I'm playing against green-white. But green-white doesn't have a way to rest any of my units. And so on this coming turn, I'm not going to swing with anything. I'm just going to play out this Charzaku 2. If I get another 1-drop, I'm going to play that as well. And then I'm going to pass turn. And then the turn after, I'm going to play out the Gundam with the Amuro. And then I'll swing with everything. My opponent played out the Ilfrith and is deciding. He could have a base. So he could be thinking about whether or not he should play a base here. Could have also just forgotten to pass action. It's happened to me plenty of times. And we actually get the Char. Yeah, I'm just gonna go for it. I'm gonna force him to interact with me. My opponent, I think, left, so. Oh. Nope, he was just deciding on. Sorry about that. I thought my opponent left for a second. He was just deciding whether or not to play the unforeseen incident. And I'm just going to pass. And we take that as a win. Because he used his EX resource. We were able to put a little bit of damage on the EX base. He can't play a pilot. So he's not able to clear this. I guess if he has bird mode, he can bird mode. And then he's level 4. So he could play a pilot at that point. But then he wastes his EX resource again. And when you force green-white to use your EX resource this early, it puts you in a pretty good position. But he does decide to do that play, which we don't love to see. This is a hard choice. It could honestly be either. I like the draw. I need to get rid of this Ilfrith. So I am going to... What's the best way to do this? Either way, one of my guys is going to die, right? And so, I mean, it kind of has to be this one, unfortunately. Because it still has 3 health. So I'll just get rid of the Charzaku there. I'll have my Gundam swing into his bird mode. And then I'm going to get rid of the EX base. And then my Gundam's going to heal up to full health. And both of my units should survive one more turn. Unless he happens to have another link. He does have a base into a bird mode. I'm not going to use the Amuro yet. Oh, I lied. Oh, I lied. Oh, I super lied. Okay, so I'm definitely playing the Amuro now. Because I get the draw. And then I'm going to swing with this Gundam here because this one repair. Well, I guess this one repairs 3 now because I have this Gundam on board. And this Gundam is still 6 HP or 6 AP. So I'm still able to crack the base. And then I'm able to get a shield with the gun tank. And I'm still able to play out the GM and pass. And then my Gundam is going to fully heal. He's only going to 6 resources. So at best he can play out an Ale with the Kira. If not, he could have winged Gundam with Hero. But he just plays at Ilfrith. We do have a pinger, so I'm just going to swing with the GM first and see what he does. See if he decides to block. which I'm okay with, right? Because of the buff, I'm a 3 attack, and then now I can just go 2 face. Potentially put my opponent down to 1 shield. He does get a striker pack burst, which is pretty bad for us, but we do have the Angsha, so we're just going to play out the Angsha. And then he still doesn't go to 8 resources next turn, so I am going to go as wide as I can. If he was going to 8 resources, I would not have played this Charzaku. I would have kept this Charzaku in hand. This one I would have played because even if it dies, I still get a draw, potentially. My opponent plays out a Justice, which does give him another blocker. He's probably thinking about whether or not he should use the EX resource to play a 3rd blocker. I think he kind of has to, unless he has Unforeseen. And then I think he realizes that I have too many attacks. Even if this is a base, I'm gonna be able to go through everything that he has. And yeah, that's a GG to my opponent. So that was 2 games against green-white, and we kind of showed, honestly, the strength of 1 of Amuro, 2 of both of the Gundams, which is why it's kind of hard for me to decide, right? The draw was really nice just to keep my hand size up. The +1 was, I mean, it just helps us clear so many things and just get so many favorable trades in our position. So, yeah, that's a GG to my opponent. Playing against Ping. Could be playing a ping deck, could not be playing a ping deck. I guess we'll find out. Chooses to go second. I'm going first. I'm going to definitely keep this hand. I have a turn 2 play, I have a turn 3 play, and I have Gundam Amuro. And then drawing into another turn 2 play, just it's like icing on the cake, right? If we draw into a 3rd one to play it like with this Charzaku on 3 resources, I don't know if there's ever, I don't want to say we could never lose a game with that starting hand, but it makes it really hard. It's just a really aggressive hand. And we do end up drawing it, which feels really good. My opponent didn't do anything on his turn 1 play, so we still don't know what we're playing against. But could see a blocker here, which we do. We see an Ilfrith. The Ilfrith kind of stymies our play some. Right. I am not going to play the Charzaku yet, or the Char Aznable yet, because I have that as a link with this Char for later, and I'm not going to swing with anything else because I have the Gundam Amuro, so I'm just going to play everything standing. And then next turn, I'll play the Gundam Amuro, rest the blocker. He does use the EX resource to play a Kira out here. This is pretty okay with us. He gets rid of our EX base and bounces one of our guys, but we don't mind that. Because we have this Char, which with the buff we'll be able to get rid of it. And net us a +1, essentially. While he slowed us down, he also slowed himself down by using his EX resource. And now I'm going to be able to clear his entire board, crack the EX base, take a life, and then still have 3 bodies. The only pick I can get is a Charzaku 2, which we're never complaining about. He doesn't have a resource, an active resource. If he had an active resource, I would swing with these guys first and then take care of the Ilfrith in case it was naval bombardment. Because he didn't have a resource up, I feel okay going ahead and attacking the Ilfrith. I'm going to swing with the GM just because you want to get in the habit of swinging like your lowest attacks first, right? So swing with my 3, then I swing with my 4. And then I'm going to end turn. And my Gundam is going to fully heal. And then he's back up to 4 resources, so he either has to play 2 blockers if he has them, or he could do another Sword Strike Link, but that seems really specific. He plays out the Tragos, which is an Oz blocker, so he could be playing Zex. Plays out a base, which is also pretty good. So my opponent's in a pretty decent spot here. Alright, you would think that that's a pretty safe defensive spot, but I do have, and this is why I saved it. Alright, he can't block this, and so I'm guaranteed to get rid of the base. With only the Gundam up, he could have just blocked, right? And then it will take 2 attacks to get rid of it, which really will slow me down. And so now he has to decide which attack he's blocking here. And regardless of which one he blocks, all of my units survive. And then same thing, we're just going to go in order of our lowest attack points to our highest attack points. He is going to have to burst to block at some point. My opponent gets the Orga, Krot, and Shani, which makes me know that he's playing with Earth Alliance blockers as well. But that just rests a blocker, so I mean we're obviously not playing any blockers in our deck. And then instead of playing the Charizard 2, I'm just going to play out my 2 1-drops to go extra wide across the area. And if I ever draw into a Charizard, right, like I want to keep some of my potential links in hand. And he's just playing base, 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 showing me that his hand had a lot of bases in it. Pairs the pilot, and then I mean that's just it. That was a pretty quick game. Honestly, like a lot of your games with blue-green end really quickly. The ones that drag out, a lot of times you probably don't win. I'm going to play second this time since I played first in the last game, and this is going to be our last game. I'm going to keep because I got a lot of 1-drops or of 1 costs. If we draw another one, I am going to go ahead and use the EX resource. Actually, I'm going to use it anyway, just to show what gameplay looks like when you do that. If he doesn't have a Zawart here, he's in a lot of trouble. Alright, he's playing purple, so we don't know yet if it's purple-white or blue-purple. And the Corsica base is a really big pickup as well, because now we can play the Corsica base next turn. It gives us a little bit of defense, plays out a body, and draws us a card. He bursts a Nil Argama, which kind of hurts us a decent bit, honestly. But I am going to play out the 2 1-drops and then just go wide. Because we committed to using the EX resource, we kind of have to commit to this play. And I am actually, I know I said I was going to play the Corsica base, but now that he took damage here, I'm actually going to play the gun tank into the Rigdom, just to go ahead and get rid of this so he can't clear another one of my units with it. And then passes on 3/3, which is really big for us. We're going to attempt to get rid of the base with 2 of our attacks. And then we're going to attack and potentially put him down to 3 shields left already. He gets a Fatal Strike burst, which just does 1 damage to one of my units. It should probably be this Char. Yep. I'll play out the Gundam to get rid, so he can't trade into my board with it. And then I'm gonna pass turn. And then next turn I still have the Corsica base, which I can use to draw another card, play a body, and this one drop. So that still, you know, makes me have a pretty nice smooth curve. He does have the Anksha to get rid of the Charzaku, so that Fatal Strike burst really did help him in this situation. It doesn't always help, but when it does help. He did have the Mikazuki, so it doesn't matter, I guess. So the Fatal Strike bursting doesn't matter at this point anymore because he had the Mikazuki. I don't love the use of the Mikazuki there, though, because it doesn't get rid of my... it doesn't get rid of anything on my board. He could have just saved it for a more impactful time where he can guarantee that he gets rid of something. And then we have potential lethal here. So I'm just going to start swinging before I play anything. So there's a couple things we could do here. I think I'm going to pair this GM with Amuro to rest, and then because this unit only has 3 health, I'm gonna trade my Rigdam into it. I get 2 cards for 1, and I still breach, so I can still go for game if he doesn't have a base, and he didn't have a base, so we just swing in for game. And yeah, and then we still had the Corsica base to play to draw 1 and still play another body. So yeah, that is a GG to my opponent. Alright, and for the final thoughts, I mean, I think today kind of showed the strength of the deck, right? It's just really fast, really aggressive. If you see multiple of your 1 cost early and are able to burn your EX resource and still play multiple bodies the following turns after, like, you just, there's not a lot of decks that can keep up with that kind of pressure. And so that's why you run so many of these, right? You're running 16 1 costs just so you can see as many as you can early. Both Gundams showed their strength today. The draw Gundam in very specific situations is amazing. This Gundam is always good to see with any of the pilots just because the +1 feels really, really good. And then the pingers, you know, did their thing. So I do still think this Char is the MVP of the deck. Just being able to replace itself, you know, get it off some favorable trades, even unfavorable trades, but just replacing itself just feels really, really good. And so the white base I didn't really get to see come up, but there were a couple games where in the right situations, especially later in the game, this would turn the game around for you if you ever find yourself like falling behind. And so I do want to keep giving it a try and just kind of see how it feels. So that is it for today. Thank you all so much for the support. If you liked what you saw today, or if you've been enjoying any of the content, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next one. Have an amazing day. All right, and for our final game,